So speculations and discussions have begun to start around WWE 2K22, and after the poor performance of 2K20, this is very much a make or break year for the franchise. 2K22 will need to right the wrongs of its predecessor, but also it will need to show the community that Visual Concepts have listened to feedback and lessons were learnt. 2K22 cannot be experimental. WWE games and Visual Concepts should know what the fans want by now, but there's always been a blurred line when it comes to bringing fun back to a WWE game. Some see fun as having an arcade type of gameplay, others see it as being more out there, introducing the weird and wonderful, and some would see it as getting a WWE game where the core fundamentals work and there's no issues. But for WWE 2K20, albeit not entirely experimental, it did attempt fun by going with the weird and wonderful. Say hello to 2K Originals. WWE 2K Originals was a very different DLC plan than what we've seen before. Usually DLC content for WWE games consisted of packs showcasing superstars from the past, present and future. These packs would aim to extend your in-game roster. 2K Originals for 2K20 took the emphasis off superstar packs, and its aim was to be more content driven, headed up by the Fiend Bray Wyatt as part of the first 2K Originals, Bump in the Night. This theme would focus on horror, showcasing horror versions of superstars, arenas and vanity items. 2K Originals also included themed playable content, which in my opinion was just a bunch of glorified 2K towers. After Bump in the Night, there were 3 other 2K Originals that would follow: Wasteland Wanderers, a Mad Max theme, Southpaw Regional Wrestling, a retro independent wrestling theme which we'd seen on WWE, and the Empire of Tomorrow, which seemed to be based on a remake of Disney's Tron. So I wanted to get a little bit of engagement from my Patreon supporters to see what they thought of 2K Originals, and you too can become a supporter and suggest and contribute to topics much like this one by heading over to patreon.com/Delzinski. But Roosterman Dan said, wasn't a fan of the 2K Originals honestly. It was a change, but in my opinion, it wasn't a welcome one. 2K Originals would definitely suit a game like 2K Battlegrounds since it has that arcade feel to it. However, going forward in the simulation games, they should focus a lot more on saving DLC for returning stars or new ones. Now my take on 2K Originals were some aspects were cool. The venues for example were interesting, giving us different settings to play in. I found them particularly useful for Universe mode. The alternate versions of superstars on the other hand, yes they looked fun, but I had zero use for them. It would be very rare that I'd find myself wanting to play as the Swamp Father or Seth the Wanderer, and there was no incentive to do so when all we were playing was more towers. Where 2K Originals really fell flat for me was that everything was just a skin of what we already had. It still played like the same sim game, the old fancy move chucked in, the same superstars were there, the same layout for arenas was there, and it was just plain towers. For 2K Originals to be a success, it needs to be entirely different, a different playing experience, maybe more open, more fast, a different type of gameplay. This could be an arcade style, new movesets, and the challenges need to be community engaging and competitive. Say for Bump in the Night, why not make that DLC a complete zombie mode? Within this mode, the downloadable superstars would have different attributes and abilities, and you'd select them based on those attributes, not just the cosmetics and by the way that they look. These attributes would help you take down the zombies, and just to make it more WWE specific, every zombie is a Vince McMahon zombie. Imagine trying to kill off 100 Vince McMahons or however many that are coming at you through this zombie mode. WCW couldn't do it back in the day. I mean, you'll be overwhelmed by them. But the point is, you end up fighting these zombies, trying to take them down and building a zombie kill count, which is saved, and then after, once you are overwhelmed, it's then uploaded to a leaderboard for other players to compete against. Being top of the leaderboard by the end of that DLC period could result in a 2K reward. How about being sent to WWE or Universal Championship with custom 2K plates, or a custom 2K Championship overall, or maybe something Bump in the Night themed. a bump in the night championship maybe. Whatever it is, if you missed out, it's going to get you fired up for the next DLC. And if you won it, you'll want to defend your title and win the next one. So if 2K Originals returns for 2K22, it doesn't entirely have to work like my idea, but it does have to feel different, be competitive and rewarding, which my idea is overall. Alternatively, it might be best for 2K Originals to be a one and done, as many of us would like to forget about WWE 2K20, and maybe the DLC that we've seen in the past is now dated and it's time to move on and have 2K focus on the live update system that offers constant refreshers throughout the year, giving us new arenas, new superstars, new match types, and even changing overalls, keeping the game up to date constantly. An ever-changing video game to keep up with the ever-changing beast that is WWE. So you've heard my thoughts on 2K Originals and the potential return for 2K22, but I want to hear from you in the comments below by giving your thoughts on if 2K Originals should and could come back, and if it did, how would it work? If you didn't like 2K Originals at all, then I want to hear what you want to replace it with. Comment below, give your feedback, and why not drop a like on this video and follow on Instagram for more topics and discussions, and thanks for watching.